I live in a small rural town in the southeastern United States. Because of my work schedule, I have a membership at a 24-hour gym in town. As a member, you are given a key fob that you can wave in front of a sensor so you can work out anytime you want. The gym is an old shopping center. The shopping center is located on an old, desolate stretch of road that takes you out of town to the interstate. There is nothing but trees and hills for a 5-mile radius. Add the busted spotlights, and this gym can be pretty damn creepy after dark sets in. One night around 1 a.m., I'm in the gym working on a weight machine. I'm all alone with only the sound of the air conditioner and my breathing to accompany me. A young woman walks up to the door, waves her fob, and enters. She immediately goes to the treadmill. I nod my head and continue working out. I think she was nervous being in the gym late at night with a big guy lifting weights, but soon we would be united forever through a weird and creepy experience. A guy dressed in jeans and a t-shirt came up to the door. He knocked on the glass and smiled at me and the young lady on the treadmill. I watched as she stopped and walked towards the door. He was clean-cut and didn't look too threatening, but he was smiling too damn hard. "Hey, can you let me in? I forgot my key," he said. The girl walked over to the door. I couldn't believe she was going to let him in. "Hey, I don't think that's a good idea," I said. "Why not?" she says. "He doesn't have workout gear on." That seemed to make her stop and think. "I'm sorry, I can't," she said to the man. He stopped smiling. "Let me in, don't be a cunt," he said. He said it so viciously the woman stuttered like she had been shot. "What?" she asked. "Open the goddamn door," he screamed. He began to pound on the glass as hard as he could. I got up and said, "Listen, buddy, I'm calling the cops." He stopped. "I'll be wiping your blood off my hands before they get here," he said. I pulled my phone out and dialed 911. He immediately ran away. The woman was freaking out. The cops showed up and we gave our statements. When we were finally able to leave, I went to my truck. Her car and my truck were the only vehicles in the parking lot. Both our tires had been slashed. There's a man that hangs out at my work who, until lately, I had defended as harmless. I work at a gym, and this man has a membership but doesn't really work out. It's like he just comes to be social. He sits, drinks coffee, and bugs people. He is clearly mentally handicapped and very hard to handle. He is 50-something and wears short shorts and tight tank tops, way too small for his body type. And he loudly and obnoxiously repeats himself over and over. He gets frustrated and says, "You know what I mean. It's really complicated. I can't explain it." After showing no sign of not understanding him, or even after we have learned to clarify, "I understand what you mean." I have been told many times that I'm the only person in the place that has any patience left for him, so I'm always very kind to him. When people complain about him, which is often since he randomly talks to people all over the gym, I have told people that something isn't right with him and I know that he is irritating, but he's harmless and I don't think he has anyone. Lately, he has talked about every young girl that works there, told a story about a 17-year-old he had met the other day and how she was attractive, and he literally thinks every girl is hitting on him when they politely respond to something he says or when anyone is even kind to him. Our gym has a pool, and so the lifeguards wear swimsuits, although they are one pieces and not revealing at all. He has started making comments about the lifeguards in their swimsuits. They're all about 20 to 23 years old. He has talked about asking out every female manager, or saying how he thinks one of them really likes him because she said, "Hi, how are you today?" or something casual like that. He also makes up stories about employees telling him that they are interested in him, which I know because I asked her and she flat out denied it and had no idea where he ever got that idea. The most recent complaint I got about him was actually from a male member that travels and drives a semi and parks it in our lot once a month when he travels and sleeps for a while before he comes in to work out. He said that this man had been very, very creepy to him lately, standing outside staring at him while he's in his truck, or sitting in his car watching him, even if he has to get in his car and turn it around to face him to watch him, for hours at a time. His topic of conversation while talking to me last night? How much he would like to get a gun. Maybe my friend at the gym isn't so harmless. When I was in 10th grade at 15, halfway through the year I switched from public to online school due to anxiety issues. For my PE, my mom signed me up to a gym pretty close to our house. Considering my anxiety problems, she signed up with me, so I wasn't going alone. The gym in question had 2 levels. Upstairs was women only and downstairs was both men and women. The upstairs wasn't as big and didn't have the same equipment, so for the first 40 minutes or so, my mom and I would be upstairs, then we would go downstairs to finish. About 2 or 3 weeks into going to the gym, whenever we went downstairs, this older, I'd say about 60 or so, man started to stare at me. A thing about me is that I'm pretty oblivious and naive. I don't know what I thought he was staring at me for, but I took it as normal and just awkwardly smiled at him anytime I accidentally made eye contact. It was only when we walked down the stairs anyway, since he was near the treadmills and the area we used was past that. One day, however, when we went down and walked over to the weights area, he followed us over. While we started to do our thing, he just stood there watching, not even pretending to lift his own weights. My mom gave him a good glare since he was just staring at me, but he didn't seem to notice. At that time, even regular interactions with people made me uncomfortable, so you can imagine how a man much larger and older than me straight out staring at me felt. This continued for the next few days. After my mom and I walked downstairs, he would follow us and just continue to stare. I'd try not to look at him if I could help it, but sometimes I would accidentally glance that way and he'd just be adjusting himself. Honestly, I tried asking my mom if I could just stay upstairs rather than going down, and I think me being near tears and begging to not have to go down really made her realize how this was all affecting me. She still made me go down with her, but at the time, when the man followed us, she turned around and told him right off. She told him if he didn't leave me alone, she'd cut off the parts that made him act like such a creep. I swear to God, he turns and looks at me and says, "You just wait till your mom's not around anymore. Then we'll see how well you can protect yourself." He then proceeded to turn around and go up to the upstairs part of the gym. I'm 18 now, and I've had other weird experiences, but this one still really bothers me. I think it's because of the time in my life in which it happened and how vulnerable I was back then. Working 6+ hours a night scrubbing sweaty gym equipment has its pros, such as no uniform, and its cons, like being completely exhausted every single night, but I would hardly describe it as creepy. If I would have been asked a few months ago, I would have said the scariest thing about my job was the ladies who stripped naked right in front of me without warning while I was trying to clean the bathroom, the shower curtains in the men's room that open on their own at night, or being checked out by dudes with muscles bigger than my head. These 2 tales changed that, for sure. The first one took place in the late fall, early winter, when it was just starting to get dark earlier. I had to take the trash out, which was normally no big deal. The gym had previously been a furniture store, and to reach the dumpster you had to go out the side door where the trucks would back up for deliveries and drop-offs, walk down a ramp, turn the corner to get to the side of the building, and throw the trash in. No big deal, right? I stuck the doorstep in between the door and the door frame to keep it from swinging shut and locking me out, and I moseyed on down to try to get the trash into the unnecessarily massive dumpster. Just as I rounded the corner, I stopped dead in my tracks. Idling there was a windowless van. I could see 2 shapes through the windshield, and the headlights were on. I paused briefly to consider my options. There was absolutely no way I could take these clowns. I was so short I had to leave the trash beside the dumpster because I couldn't reach to open the lid and toss the trash in. They started up the van, and I dropped the trash bags and booked it back to the sweaty safety of the gym, locking the side door behind me. I thought about telling the front desk, but then maybe those guys were just passing through and I was overreacting. I tidied up the back a bit, and after a while, I opened the side door again to peek out. They were still sitting out there, a little bit closer to the corner this time than they had been before. There were no other buildings on that side of the shopping center, and I knew they weren't waiting behind the gym for a buddy or something. I notified the manager, but by the time they had got back there, the van was gone. I didn't hear anything about it after that, and I don't take the trash out anymore. My area is known for its prostitution presence, and even scarier, is known for abduction and sex trafficking. I wasn't taking my chances again. The second incident was a few weeks ago. Since I work the night shift, I usually get in around 5 or 6 p.m. and don't head home until after midnight, long after everyone else had packed up and gone home. I was cleaning up in the lobby when a car pulled up in front of the building. I didn't think anything of it. My dad and best friend did that when they came to pick me up to make sure I was done so they could pull around to the side door where I left from. I looked up from changing the trash bag to see a man standing stiff as a board, face pressed up on the glass. Thinking it was my best friend, I waved. When he didn't respond, I made a goofy face and started walking towards the door. I was about 3 feet away when I realized with a sinking feeling that I had absolutely no idea who that man was. I froze with terror, just staring at him. He had a baseball cap and old-looking clothes and some beard stubble. He wasn't just checking the gym hours, which were posted on the front doors, and he couldn't have thought the gym would still be open because it was well after midnight and the entire parking lot had been empty. Instead of waiting around to see what he wanted, I pulled out my phone and shouted that I was going to call the police if he didn't leave. When the creep still didn't move, I started dialing 911. He hopped back in his car and peeled out of there faster than I could finish dialing. My best friend came by a few minutes later and I headed home with him. I texted the manager to let him know what had happened, but they never found anything. I hadn't seen anyone like that since, and I hope I never do again.